The voice of sharing, 旅人的香。
Hi, this is Arlene.
Hi everyone, good morning. This is Gowri, and you're joining us on our ASEAN breakfast call this beautiful
Beautiful Friday night.
Yeah,
No,
that's
Friday
right.
morning actually.
Friday night.
Can't wait for Friday night,
Not
guys.
yet, Arlene, not yet. Relax.
I know. So anyway, as usual, we'll be doing reportings on any issues or stories or development in Southeast Asia. But before that, I just want to let you guys know that there's actually a moderate 5.8 magnitude earthquake that struck off west coast of the Andaman Islands on Thursday, which was reported by the Geological Survey.
Yeah, that's right. And the agency said that the quake struck at 7:41 p.m., which is about 9:40 Singapore time, in the Bay of Bengal between Myanmar's western coastline and the Andaman Islands at a depth of 10 kilometers. But there have been no reports about any damage yet.
Yeah, apparently there haven't been, I guess, no reports yet. And in fact, the earthquake was quite moderate. So I think, in a sense, and somewhat, I just want to let you know that when we talk about earthquake in Southeast Asia, we always think about, for me, first thing in mind would be Indonesia.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like every
Sumatra.
time you will be either in Sumatra or somewhere in Java, all over that area.
Yeah, and also another thing that we haven't really talked about is the Commonwealth Games that's going on in Glasgow.
Glasgow and your Khairi Jamaluddin.
Well, I mean,
is there
he
right now?
doesn't exactly belong to me, but okay.
Well, actually, I'm a lot of things happening at the Glasgow Commonwealth Game, and I think one of it will be our swimmer. And her name, she was the one who shocked us with a bronze medal during the Olympic Games last year, if I'm not mistaken.
And also Nicole David scored her gold medal for squash this year, and she's from Penang, so yay.
What does that to do with Penang? Anyway,
Well, it shows that Penangites are awesome.
well, not just Penang Knights, but I also want to salute our friend here from Borneo, Panda Leila. I just want to say that although she falls short in bit towards the goal for the 10-meter platform, but at the same time, I think she did Malaysia proud in the swimming category, because we never win anything in the swimming category when it comes to like international level.
And even back then when Lee Chong-wei won, everyone was like, hey, why is all the attention on Lee Chong-wei? Like, give this girl some attention too. She's a young, nice girl from Borneo, and she's working really hard for Malaysia. And we should give her more credit than it's due.
Yeah, and I just want to mention also there are other two Malaysians who also participated in the swimming category. One is Cheong Jun Hong, and another one is Lo Jiao Yi. Both of them finished at 6th and 8th place, respectively. And earlier, Malaysia's Oi Zi Liang had pulled off a surprise by winning a gold medal in the men's 3-meter springboard. So, wow, we also have a gold at the men's category. I didn't know that.
That's right. So far, Malaysia has 4 golds, 6 silvers, and 5 bronze medals. So we have a total of 15 medals, which is, I think, pretty good. It's definitely better than the last few years and all, but currently England is at the top of the chart with 123 medals collectively, followed by Australia, who have 113 medals.
Wow. From us, barely even 20 goals, or barely even 20 medals, and they already have like 100 and something. But then countries like Australia and England, I suppose, are sports country. For example, Australia, they have more people winning gold in swimming than like probably when it comes to like in comparison with the population. Like they have such a small population, even though they are big. I mean, their landmass is big.
I think Michael Phelps is from Australia as well. Ah, okay. And he's one of the world's. I hope I'm right. And he's one of the world's best swimmers, and he's always been my idol, apart from Ian Thorpe. Yeah, so I guess you're right in that sense, where Australia and also England, with the football and everything, I guess it's not surprising that England would do very well in sports and topping the chart with 123 medals collectively. That is very, very impressive.
And I don't know, to me, it's a culture, for sports. Like, for example, in Brazil, it's a culture for you to know how to play football or to know how to balance the ball even. So if I think in Malaysia, if we make a culture like for people to realize that how how cool sports
Yeah, we
are,
just watch sports here. We don't play that much, do we?
and just get involved in all this really interesting sports activity. Like for me, I'm all for tennis.
I don't really want to talk about tennis right now. My leg still hurts from last week when I fell.
Well, talking about hurt, apparently, well, I have to continue to the next story, which is there's a blast as experts finally reach MH17 crash site in eastern Ukraine. So
Yeah.
the explosion that rang out near the crash site of the downed flight MH17 in eastern Ukraine on Thursday, which was yesterday, as international investigators arrived for the first time in nearly a week after Kyiv announced a surprise one-day halt to its offensive against the rebels, the separatist group.
So it seems that a small team of Dutch and Australian experts, accompanied by some international monitors, finally reached the vast site of the doomed Malaysian Airlines, uh, just after days of fighting between the government forces and rebels had stopped them from reaching the area. But in the sign of continuing insecurity, an AFP team following some minutes behind the convoy heard some loud blasts just a few kilometers away from the site, and also saw some black smoke rising from a village close by.
Well, apparently the Ukraine's military had earlier announced a day of quiet, as I mentioned earlier, as just a one-day halt across the entire east after a plea from the UN chief Ban Ki-moon to halt fighting in the area of the crash, which I totally agree. Like, why you want to fight, over like different political interests, on a place where there's just too many, heartbreaks and death happened, at that particular area.
Yeah, I mean it's already uh, as being speculated, it was a mistake. The missile was accidentally shot at the Malaysian airline planes, and the least that they could do is at least let these teams in and let them carry out the investigation and find out what happened, as opposed to still being there, still hogging the place, still fighting, shooting each other.
I think that what the Ukraine government should do, they should stay away from this and just let the international delegation to deal directly with the rebels. What they can do is they should ensure that the security is there, that's it. Like, they shouldn't like create another war, another civil war within this small town, which has, like just really peaceful, loving people. I saw like all these villagers, when they first knew about the crash site, just behind their backyard, they actually bring in like white cloth to cover the dead body, just to show like there's someone died here, and we should show some sort of respect to the person. And we have to realize that they are about 300 people died at a very that very remote area.
Yeah, it also says here that the Netherlands has actually ruled out the possibility of sending in their troops because of fears that they could get entangled in Ukraine's murky conflict, which has already claimed over 1,000 lives in just 3 months of bitter fighting.
Oh, that's crazy. That's just too much. And another country, actually, countries that is also facing another crazy sort of like squabble with each other would be, as usual, I think everybody knows about it, is the war in Gaza.
So apparently they have been attacking the schools now, which is making headlines, especially with the US resupplying ammunition to Israel, which has drawn a huge outcry among people because everyone is rooting for Palestine. I wouldn't say everyone, maybe a majority of people it doesn't matter who you support here, Palestine or Israel. It goes down to humanity. You just want Israel to stop bombing and stop killing innocent people. And with U.S. resupplying the ammunition, and now they're targeting schools where children who have absolutely done nothing wrong are being targeted.
Women and children, in fact.
in this
Eh,
situation.
In fact, I actually watched CNN on the report regarding on the bombing of a school, and apparently it's a UN school, meaning that the UN sponsored that school, and it's supposed to be a UN school, and they just bomb it. And do you know what they say? They say that it's a mistake. They accidentally did it, and they didn't realize that it was a school. And the worst part of it is not even they mentioned that they accidentally did it. I think the worst part is they say that, it wasn't us who killed, all these women and children. It could be like probably a bomb from Hamas side, not ours. Or while it was clearly being shown in I think it was a satellite aerial view of the bombing, that it was clearly shown that it's just one bomb, and that bomb was by the Israeli.
It says the same thing here as reported by the Star. Most of the missiles that they launched, they kind of blame it on Palestine, saying that, oh, they launched it and it wasn't powerful enough, so it landed back in Palestine and attacked their own schools, their own people. So it's not really our fault, and we're not responsible for this.
I think Israel should take some sort of some blame on targeting schools. I mean they already done a lot of damage, killing probably more than 400 people. Well, I think now is 1,395 people, right? As in like the number of people died due to the bombings of the Israelis.
Yeah, it says here since the last 24 days of violence. Yes.
So the news today is the Israeli vow to crush Gaza tunnels. I think by hook or by crook, the Israeli will use their hawkish strategy to deal with Gaza until, they ensure that probably the entire Hamas supporters and Hamas people are being wiped out. That's what I think their strategy is right now. I don't think they really care about whether, there are civilian lives lost, or schools being bombed, or even hospital being bombed. If you never know, it could happen.
Yeah, I mean we've seen the map back then, the map of Palestine before the Jews went to settle there, and of course they had a pretty huge area, but slowly with the Jews being displaced all over the world, and they started moving to Palestine, and also claiming that this was the land promised to them, and it has very close relations to what was said in the Bible, and they have been slowly kind of like pushing the Palestine back, and now Palestine is kind of just a small strip here and there, and it's just a majority of Jews and all. And do you think that they're not going to stop until like they've completely wiped out all of the Palestinians?
I'm not sure whether they would wipe out the entire area of Palestine, but what I think I would agree is the way Israel view their neighbors is they are only thinking of survival, and if survival means killing other people's citizen, killing women and children from other countries, they would do it regardless of it. And that's the problem when survival is being seen in the eyes of a nation state rather in the eyes of people. When you think about survival as a human, you would usually think of the greater good, between, your community and all that. But when you think as a nation state, you're only thinking about, your own people within your own borders. You don't really care about, people outside your borders. So I think what Israel is doing now is, if you mess with us, don't ever think that you will get away from this. And because of that, I believe it could be the reason why all the Arabic countries surrounding the Middle East didn't do anything, didn't have any position on that, didn't make any stance on that, didn't even send their troops or funding on that. And in fact, the only country that I know, besides of course Malaysia and Indonesia, that actually voices out our sympathy and on this, I think would probably be, unfortunately, the Iranians and all these Shia majority Asians.
Yeah, and also I think just yesterday a friend of mine was asking me why is it that Israel keeps attacking Palestine and Palestine is not doing anything about it, and I guess my answer was Palestine is trying to do something about it, but they don't have this sophisticated technology and military equipment.
They are not
as
even allowed to study chemical engineering in their university.
Mhm.
They are not allowed to own certain chemical weaponry, and all that. And in fact, the worst thing is they are being barred from entering Egypt. So they have nowhere else to go. I mean, to blame solely in Israel without seeing the larger context of Middle East involving all these other Arab countries is, I think, a bit short-sighted. But then there's another story that I want to highlight, which is Israel and Hamas did agree on 72-hour humanitarian Gaza ceasefire.
And they agreed to that over their conflict in the Gaza Strip starting on Friday, which is today, after, of course, the plea of Secretary General Ban Ki-moon from UN and also the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. And the ceasefire will begin today at 8 a.m. local time, which is about now. And the statement also said that forces on the ground will remain in place during the truce, implying that Israeli ground forces will not withdraw. So they're still staying there. They're staying put with all their troops and all, but they just promised to stop attacking for a while.
Well, I hope that there will be a ceasefire, and I think the most important thing is to sort of settle the differences between Israel and Hamas. And I think for one thing that Israel has to realize is Hamas will be there regardless you like it or not. I mean, they even had a civil war between Hamas and the Fatah group, I think back a couple of years ago. So in a sense that Hamas forces is worldwide. It's not just within Palestine. I mean, even in Malaysia, Malaysians actually are quite supportive of whatever that is happening in Palestine right now. They support the Palestinian people. I'm not sure to the extent of Hamas, but I think in general they see that Israel as is the evil one, in this particular conflict.
Actually, I read one news yesterday. I don't know how true it is, but apparently this one guy from Palestine who was probably in the military official and all, he said that he actually received his training from Malaysia.
Wow. Yeah, there has been a report. Actually, it was Israel. I just read earlier that Israel actually accused Malaysia for being
Exactly,
sort of like the funder and supporter of Palestine's Hamas. And continue with the story that you mentioned just now.
I mean, that's pretty much what I read, and there were a lot of opinions saying that, is this a way to get Israel to turn against us? I mean, we have been supporting Palestine, but at the same time, we are not trying to wage a war against Israel or anything. We don't really have any intention to start a fight, start a war, to have
I
any
thought
hostility.
Malaysians go to the Middle East to train. I mean, some fundamental
Yeah, exactly.
Malaysians that go to the Middle
This could be just
East.
a speculation, but it's a very dangerous one because it could really spite Israel to
To see us as the enemy,
as a threat. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Malaysia is a threat to Israel, or Israel is a threat to Malaysia. Although, I mean, I have to highlight that Malaysia has its largest business with Israel, probably indirectly, regarding on the Intel plant in Penang. Yeah, as you all know, Intel is actually an Israeli company that do chips on computers and all that. So I don't know. To me, Malaysia and Israel, I don't think we have. We would have negative relationship. Or in fact, we don't have any relationship with Israel at all.
well,
I mean, at least as far as we know, maybe underneath of it, we wouldn't
Except
know.
that we're barred from going to Israel, of course.
Of course.
And you have some news here to clarify
Oh
the.
yeah. So for the Malaysian side, which was said by the thing Deputy Home Minister Datuk Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, he make a statement that Malaysia has never organized military training for any groups other than the countries with which it had formal agreements. So the Home Ministry has never conducted any clandestine training for Hamas fighters. We have never have any training programs with countries that we only have training programs with countries that have formal agreement with us, as he told Bernama on that.
Yeah, and he also said that this whatever news that just came out of nowhere was
Actually it
definitely
came out of Jerusalem Post.
Jerusalem Post. Okay. And yeah, he said it's definitely was done with malicious intent to tarnish Malaysia's reputation in the eyes of the world.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you look at the whole society in the world, Malaysia, in fact, has been the more vocal one. In fact, Malaysia and Indonesia, I have to highlight these two countries. We are a majority Muslim country. I think that our voices are louder than the Middle East. In fact, I think Malaysia and Indonesia see Palestine as like the beacon of hope for Islam. Like if there's no Palestine, meaning that the future of Islam is being threatened, like big time, big deal.
Speaking of that, I want to bring up a couple of celebrities who actually tweeted about this, and one of them was Rihanna, who said "Free Palestine," and she received a massive outrage from her followers.
Why?
Because she has a lot of followers from Israel, apparently, which she probably didn't know, or she thought it was fine to, just voice out her opinion. And so many people went against her, started unfollowing her, started saying that she's insensitive. And,
What?
And then she was actually forced to delete it. However, this other guy from One Direction also tweeted the same thing.
Which one of it?
Zayn Malik.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's a Muslim, right?
He is a Muslim, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he also tweeted Free Palestine and received an equal amount of outrage from his followers, but he did not delete it. A lot of people told him that, you have Jew followers who are Jews, and that is very insensitive. It's like you telling us to just like kill ourselves. And he even received death threats from his followers for just saying those two words, Free Palestine. But I'm glad that he did not delete it. He still left it there.
I mean, at the end of the day, the same situation happened in the World War II. I have huge sympathy towards the Jews during the World War II because they were targeted by the German government at that time, and which was Hitler. And of course, you don't want the same thing happen in Gaza as well. You don't want millions of people to be killed, and now it's like amounting to 1,400 of people already died because of such senseless war.
Yeah, you would think that after going through such a thing, they wouldn't want that to happen to anything else. So to anyone else. And it's sad that it's another kind of like ethnic cleansing, if I may use that term, that is happening here.
I totally agree that. And another place that is currently having some sort of like cleansing, lives cleansing, I guess, would be in Western Africa. Well, it's not really ethnic cleansing, but in Western Africa right now, at this very moment, they are having a very huge Ebola outbreak. In fact, the Ebola that is affecting, I think, millions of people there is the deadliest one, and 68% of people contracting it most probably would die. And the problem is the symptom is so similar to like normal common cold or the flu that you wouldn't know that you are having Ebola at all.
Yeah, and Ebola has been the cause for over 600 deaths so far in Liberia, which is I think the most affected one, followed by Guinea and Sierra Leone, according to the World Health Organization.
Yeah, and to me personally, that this is a huge thing, and nobody really is taking any attention towards this.
Except not Singapore.
No, actually, the interesting part is I was just googling like other countries in Southeast Asia which has been, mentioning about this. Besides Singapore, is also Thailand. But actually, majority of the countries around Southeast Asia, they assume that the Ebola outbreak won't be that serious. Is probably the risk in Southeast Asia will be very, very low.
I mean, whatever it is, I think that everyone should start taking precautions. Be careful when you even feel the slightest dizziness, or if you have a cold, whatever it is, get it checked immediately. So there is no cure for this, of course, but you can still be treated in other like supportive therapy.
But this is just the beginning, It only happened like probably a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago, and it's already like spreading out of Africa, and they already suspected cases in Britain and Hong Kong, and Hong Kong is just nearby to Southeast Asia by just one flight.
But they have been the results came out negative, so I guess we're still safe. But it doesn't mean that it's never gonna come here or we're never gonna be affected, because like you mentioned yesterday about the virus, it can be airborne as well. It can probably transmit over borders, over country. There is no wall separating us or keeping us immune from this. So it's best to take some preventive measures and be careful. Be careful with it.
Yeah, totally would agree with that. And I think for us Malaysian, just be more aware of what is the Ebola outbreak, and I think we should highlight more on what is happening in Western
Yeah, and if
Africa.
they want to know more about the Ebola, they can listen to our discussion yesterday.
Oh yeah,
We
of
did,
course, definitely. And
a thorough analysis on the symptoms, on the treatments, the causes. We went through everything, the steps that you can take. So yeah, make sure to listen to that if you want to learn more about the Ebola virus.
yeah, and that's all for today. So if you are interested to know more about not just the Ebola virus, but anything that is related to Southeast Asia, please tune in to durianasian.com.
And also, don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel where we upload the podcast every day.
Yeah, and of course, if you want to listen via your phone, nowadays smartphone is very, very, I would say the Malay word called canggih.
Okay.
So you can always download the TuneIn app and listen to us via your mobile.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit for our blast from the grassroots.